All right, we're back with another button lock. This is a knife. I've actually done a video on this particular model previously, a couple of years ago, I think. This one I like better. It's a knife that I like a lot that I don't think I want to own. And there's a couple of reasons, and we'll talk about that as we dive into it. This is the Freedom Outdoor Gear 451 BLF, or button lock flipper. Here is Jeff, the owner's contact information. He is up in Oregon. They make these there with all American parts, pieces, and whatnot. That's super cool. I'm all for that. This particular version is an aluminum scale with the G10 inlay. They also have an option for titanium scales. And you can get different color inlays. You can get, I think, no inlays and different steels. This particular one is in MagnaCut, as you can see from 6 miles away. And it's made by Freeman, as you can also see from 6 miles away. Okay, just dive right into that. I am not a fan of ginormous billboarding on my blades. That's me. Aussie Mike, who owns this knife, he loves MagnaCut. And the fact that it says MagnaCut, I don't know. I haven't personally asked him if he likes that branding or not, but he's bought a few knives that you've seen on my channel that have ginormous MagnaCut imprinting on the blade. To me, that's an aesthetic thing that I don't like. I much prefer zero branding as possible. This is RJ Martin, and it is in MagnaCut, and it says MagnaCut. I'm just going to show this as a different example of way to do it. Right up in here. Okay? It's just etched in. It's not even colored. Same with his logo or name, just RJ Martin, and fingerprints, because, well, it's semi-polished on that blade. So I much prefer no branding, none at all. I'm not showing my knife or using my knife out in public so you can see what it's made out of or who makes it. Like, that's just me. I do love this colorway. Black and orange is always super cool. It's good timing because it's about a week before Halloween here in 2023 as I'm filming. So I'm not sure when exactly this will go up, but I think it goes up before Halloween. This video goes live. So I love that about this knife. The coloring is great. It works good in the pocket. It's a titanium pocket clip that works really well. And it's a comfortable knife in the hand. The flipper tab itself works great. It's not lightning fast, but it gets there. Okay. Maybe that's kind of button lock-ish because the detent isn't quite as crisp as, say, a frame lock or a liner lock. So you're just going to get the action you get, which is super smooth, runs on bearings. These are steel bearings, and the action is amazing. Super great. Now, the landing pad for your finger has a ton of jimping right underneath my finger here. So over time, this is not going to really be your fidget knife. Okay. Here is another one that has a little bit of jimping there. This is a Sheer Gorov RJ Martin collaboration. However, that jimping is kind of recessed in, so it does give you some traction. However, super comfortable on the finger. Okay. There's just different ways of doing it, and that's how Jeff chose to do it on this one. And it's just one aspect of the knife that I don't really care for. Really, other than that, the branding and the jimping here are really my only two negatives. I don't think I'd own it just because it's a bit, I'm kind of past the overbuilt stage. Well, am I really? I'm not going to lie. I try to think I'm more into sleek folders, but I'm not. This thing is crazy sharp. I like the look of this milled pattern on the blades. I like the kind of two-tone finish. I mean, I really like it. He started making this knife, this particular model, with some variations along the ways, I'm sure, back in like 2014. So it's about a 10-year-old model, give or take, at the time of filming, which is super cool. So closed is 5 1/8. Overall is 8 3/4. The blade is 3.68. Behind the edge is 0.048. So it's really thick behind the edge, but that's because the edge is super deep compared to most knives. So you get a lot of edge there. Magna Cut, as I mentioned, weighs in at 5.2 ounces. I think the titanium version is like 6.5. Of course, titanium scales are going to add to the weight, and there's just nothing you can do about that, which is okay. And like I said, this runs on steel caged bearings. They do a bunch of cool stuff, and I kind of dig it. And it's about, I'll put a link to their website down below. I did glance. I forgot the price. It's just under $400, I think. Don't quote me on that. Just go check on the link below because I am totally second guessing myself now. And I don't want to steer you wrong. I meant to write that down, but I totally spaced it in my notes that I keep on my handy dandy little notepad over here. Boom, with all the details, okay? Which you probably couldn't read even if you freeze framed that and looked at it again, because my writing sometimes I can barely read. So here it is next to the Sharpie, the Spyderco, the 5-ounce D-cell battery, just as a little bit of a weight comparison. Because I pulled out the RJ Martin, here is the RJ Martin Q36SS and the Shirogorov RJ Martin collaboration. This particular one is the soft overkill with Department 13 carbon fiber scales, aftermarket scales on it, because I don't remember what scales came on this. Was it Red G10? I don't remember. I bought it on the secondary market with these scales. In the box, I have the original scales. These scales looked way better than the original scales to me, so I'm glad that I got the original ones as well. But yeah, the original scales on that one just didn't do it for me, so I'm glad that I found one with the aftermarket that I didn't need to spend the money for. But yeah, if you want a tank of a knife, this is it. Like, this is just a big, beefy, thick tank of a knife that I would feel comfortable using and abusing. It's aluminum. Yeah, it's going to get marked up. It's hard anodized and all that fancy good stuff. But yeah, this is just going to work for you really well. The button lock locks up solid. The detent, little bit, you know, just not rocket fast as I typically enjoy, but it's going to work really good for you. And you have the thumb grooves so that you can just deploy with your thumb if you don't want to deal with the jimping there on the flipper tab landing pad. Is that what it's really called? I don't know, but there you go. That's my thoughts on the Freeman outdoor gear, not to be confused with Freeman knives, because there's two guys named Freeman that started knife companies. I've got them confused when I've tagged people in knives and have been nice and politely corrected. So yes, there is somebody called Freeman Knives, which is different than Freeman Outdoor Gear. So this is Freeman Outdoor Gear, the 451 BLF. Thanks a lot for watching, and have yourselves a fantastic day.